Joining me now is Congressman Eliot Engel of New York. Congressman Engel, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Congressman, you've been through many of these late-night sessions, many of these last-minute settlement deals between the parties. Is this the way it had to happen? Did John Boehner have to take his caucus up to within an hour of the government shutdown in order for them to face the reality that they could not allow that to happen?
Well, I think that John Boehner is being a captive of the far-right Tea Party people in his own party, and I think that they were demanding more and more, and I think he had to take it to them at the very end to say, well, this is the best we could get. I think it's a terrible way to govern. I think it's a terrible way to try to run the country, and frankly, they tried to use the social issues, the Planned Parenthood and Title X and women's health care. They tried to see if they could get that in. When that didn't happen because Democrats wouldn't capitulate, they then tried to get as much cuts as they can. I think that this whole approach is wrong, and I think that the American people are not going to be very happy with it.
Nancy Pelosi issued a statement tonight saying that House Democrats look forward to reviewing the components of the final funding measure. She did not welcome this as a great triumph. She said she has to study it, in effect. Are you prepared to vote for this bill as you understand it now, or do you need to know more about it?
I'm prepared to vote no on the bill as I understand it now. I think the tax cuts are far too great. I think that the economy is far too fragile. These tax cuts are going to impede our ability to grow jobs, and I think it's ridiculous, and I think it adds insult to injury when you say that we have to absorb these cuts and have the middle class and the poor have programs cut out from under them. At the same time, we're giving these ultra-rich people tax breaks and not caring about the balancing the budget. You know, during the Bush administration, for 6 of those 8 years, Republicans controlled both houses of Congress and the presidency, and the deficit went up and up and up. When Bill Clinton left office, we had record surpluses in this country. And when George Bush left office, we had record deficits. So, you know, this born again, suddenly, this newfound religion that my Republican friends have about being deficit hawks, I think is almost laughable because, you know, they never saw a tax cut that they didn't like. Besides giving breaks to the rich, they give breaks to the hugest companies, the ones that move jobs offshore and do those kinds of things. And yet, when it comes to programs that we know benefit people, they are quick to want to cut. So the agreement, as I understand it to be, is not acceptable to me. I go home to my constituents in New York, and I'm told by them that they do not like these cuts, and neither do I, and I'm prepared to vote no.
Congressman Engel, there will be 20 minutes of House debate before you'll be asked to vote on this. President Obama, in announcing this, announced with some pride that this is the largest annual spending cut in our history, he said. What will you tell your constituents about why you disagree with President Obama on this?
Well, I think if we're going to balance the budget, then we need to look at lots and lots of things. You can't just balance the budget on non-defense discretionary spending. It doesn't work that way. It's all symbolism. This is a matter of the Republicans trying to take us down the primrose path of again giving tax breaks for the wealthy and big corporations, at the same time cutting programs. You know, you mentioned before about the bringing us to the brink. It seems that every time that the Republicans are in control of the House, we go to this brinksmanship and have a government shutdown, or just avoid a government shutdown. This is the way they play the game. I'm not proud of the fact that these are the largest cuts in history. Yes, I do think we've got to go towards a balanced budget. Yes, I do think that there's been excesses all around, but this is not the way to go about it. I think that if we were talking about stimulus last year or the year before, and we believe that we avoided a depression because of the government money that was pumped into the economy, now we're doing just the opposite. I think we're going to lose lose jobs, and I think this is the wrong move. And I think my constituents agree with me.
Congressman Engel, I assume you've been discussing your vote, how you will vote on this, with many of your Democratic colleagues. It's my sense, if you are very clear that you're going to be voting no on this, there are probably among the Democrats a minimum of 30 to maybe 50 Eliot Engels there who don't want to vote for this. Is that, what do you think that count is going to end up being?
I think it's going to be more than 100.
More than 100.
I do. I think there are a lot of people who feel as I do, who are going to say, you know what, the Republicans are in the majority, let them jump off a cliff, because that's what they're doing. They're leading this country off a cliff, and I don't want to be any part of it, and I think the majority of the Democratic caucus will vote against this bill. All
right, so the largest annual spending cut in our history, supported and agreed to by a Democratic president, will be in the House of Representatives a Republican bill. Congressman Eliot Engel, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.